It's been a quiet day in the hockey world, so I figured now's a good time to look at the timeline for the upcoming week when it is not going to be quiet. So it really feels like we're in the calm before the storm, as it were. Um, Round one of the draft is, of course, on Tuesday. It will start at 4 p.m. Pacific. I thought it was 5, but it's 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. So the live stream on this channel will start at 3:30. That's the plan. I've always found it's good to get the live stream started before all these events get going, just for the speculative aspect and for everybody trying to figure out what's going to go on. And then if you know the future, that's kind of a cool time for you. Rounds 2 through 7 will be at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, so it's early and it's on a Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. The live stream, I'm going to start that day at 8 a.m. So be up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and all that stuff, and good to go. Now, 2 p.m. Pacific that day is the qualification deadline for restricted free agents. So we've seen some cases already. Montreal's already, there's a couple of players they've decided not to qualify. So, in other words, we're not going to give you guys an offer at all. If we don't give you guys any kind of an offer, you can become unrestricted free agents. We will see a lot of that over the next few days as we get closer to that Wednesday deadline. So, after that deadline, there'll be a lot to discuss about who's suddenly going to become an unrestricted free agent and how that's going to turn out for them. Guys to watch over the next few days would be players like in Vancouver, Troy Stecher, where the Canucks would have to pay, I believe it's $2.4 million as the qualifying offer just to be able to keep him around. And I don't know that Vancouver necessarily does that because of the cap crunch that's going on with Vancouver. And I know people are going to say, what cap crunch? They've got room. They have room right now, but they have to look at next year. Jim Benning has to look at next year and not spend a ton of money. This is why the whole OEL deal hasn't gone through yet, because Arizona needs to dump off money, and Vancouver's not in a position to pick up money. Boston's not really in a position to pick up a bunch of money either, so that would be the problem right there. And I can't see Arizona wanting to retain a bunch either. Then you're just paying him to go play somewhere else, and yeah, and then you've got that cap money on your side for the next 7 years. So it's a lot. It is a lot for Arizona to try to figure out. Now, free agency itself starts Friday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, at noon Eastern, which is 9 a.m., and I'll have the live stream going at 8:30. By which time we'll have a good idea of where some guys are going to go in all likelihood. Now, it's different than other years. They got rid of the grace period. So the grace period of, I think it was 4 or 5 days before free agency where players could talk to various teams. They're not allowed to do that this year. So it's legit. We're going to see these guys going to teams on free agent day and not have a really good idea of where they're going before free agent day, because teams aren't allowed to call players and all of that wonderful stuff. They can call teams and try to get the exclusive rights to talk to a guy until Friday. We may see some trades of that nature with a guy like, for instance, maybe Torrey Krug, maybe Alex Pietrangelo, where a team says, hey, we want exclusive rights to talk to him. We'll give you a 4th rounder to do that. And then there you go. But the closer we get to Friday, the less likely we are to see those deals. So, especially since the first round of the draft's on Tuesday. So Wednesday would probably be the deadline, I would think, before we start rounds 2 through 7. I really enjoy rounds 2 through 7 because it goes quickly. I'll make sure I have a madness board set up to track all the draft picks that take place. And it gets kind of crazy on Wednesday. And then also wanted to put on the board here, the buyout window closes on Thursday. And I know I've seen some posts about this, so I'm going to clear up any confusion here. There were no compliance buyouts with the return to play. There was a speculation that there would be, but NHL owners said no. So compliance buyouts are buyouts that will not count against the cap, and owners didn't like that, because then what that does is it means that teams are going to spend a bunch of money that gets them off the whole cap problem scot-free, but it's going to mean spending more and more money. And so owners feel like, you know what, we'll just keep the bad contracts and figure it out on our own. And so with these economic uncertain times, we have a flat salary cap. It's not going to move for the next at least 2 years after this coming season. And we're looking at some contracts that you can buy them out, but you still have the cap penalty. And the compliance buyouts would have done away with the cap penalty, but the owners said no. And I don't think the players necessarily were a big fan of the compliance buyouts either. So, in these times, they both would have agreed on that, is my guess. But hey, there will still be buyouts before Thursday, and on Thursday. So look for the waiver wire to maybe have some surprising names on it on Wednesday, because you got to throw them on unconditional waivers and then buy them out. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I'm doing my best in between now and then not to post a bunch of wild speculative rumors, unless I hear it through Elliot Friedman, Darren Drager, through some official means. I do my best not to throw a bunch of stuff up on the video stuff, because again, the crazy rumors are just insane. The Line A rumors right now are just ridiculous. They are absolutely ridiculous. And considering there hasn't been anything coming from an official account on what Winnipeg might be looking for, on who might have those pieces to offer, it legit feels like people just playing NHL 20 and going, I like this one, what do you think? And it's, yeah, there's not really a whole lot of fire there. There is a lot of smoke, but I haven't seen any fire yet. But should that change between now and Friday, when free agency opens, I'll let you guys know. But New York Rangers I'm wearing because they do get to draft first overall on Tuesday. That's their reward for losing the play-in round. And we'll see how Lafreniere looks in a Rangers jersey. And keep in mind that, the Flames are supposed to announce they're going back to their old jerseys tomorrow, which I've already got Adidas in their old jerseys, so nothing new for me. But we'll be seeing a lot of the new jerseys that teams will be wearing at the draft, I would think. Now, it's not going to be your standard draft. It's going to be done virtually. But usually the draft is where you reveal new jerseys. So there's rumors that there's going to be a green New Jersey Devils jersey, which is in the style of their old 80s jerseys. There's supposed to be a blue Montreal jersey, which has been speculated to have just the blue and the red reversed on the jerseys. So, and that sounds fine. There are some ideas as well out there on what other teams are going to do. Keep in mind they're doing 4th jerseys this year as well as the 3rd jerseys, and last year's Kings 90s throwback or 88 throwback and the St. Louis 90s throwback. Those were kind of a test to see how they'd sell, and they sold quite well. And in a league that's looking for new revenue streams, don't be surprised when there are a lot of new jerseys out there. And I know that people in Vegas have already been picking up the brand new Golden Third. And so it's going to be an interesting offseason. The NHL is going to do everything they can to make sure that their audience is still engaged and that their social media is still relevant during this time. We've seen the NFL now is starting to have its own struggles. There's been outbreaks within the NFL. The NFL having to move around games in order to try to make sure that they do complete the season. And it's reminding me a lot of what happened with Major League Baseball towards the start of their season. Again, for the NHL, they have to be looking at that, looking at what other leagues are doing, and saying, hey, we've got to be careful. The NFL's ratings have been very, very strong. I know there's people who are saying, oh, their ratings are down, but they've still had, I think it's the 15 most watched shows in the U.S. this year. It's some ridiculous number of the 15 most watched shows in the U.S. So still pretty strong. There's still a lot of people watching, and for the NHL, they're trying to make sure that they're maximizing the amount of people watching the sport, and in order to do that, they got to play. So we'll see how this goes with the draft and with free agency. And this, to me, is a sign of a team, of a league, I should say, that's very focused on the 2020-2021 season. I know there was news as well that Tristan Jarry had apparently been told along with other Penguins, to get ready for training camp on November 15th. I would think all players are being told to plan it as if training camp's going to be November 15th, but the NHL hasn't sat down with the PA yet, so we don't really know. That's the guideline based on the December 1st hope that the NHL had. But if training camps start on November 15th, that wouldn't necessarily be an indication of when the NHL is going to start playing again. That might very well be a time where they say, okay, we got to get all these players in, we got to start doing all the testing, and we got to figure out where we're at. And maybe they're aiming for a December 15th start date, and they just want to give themselves a month lead time. We'll see. But again, this is the timeline for this week. It's going to be a busy week. Be a very busy week. So I want to do a video this morning where I just threw everything into that video, and so people can use that as a reference, because I know there's going to be a lot of when are the live streams, when's this happening, when's that happening. Just refer to this video. There you go. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. The growth of this channel has been truly humbling, and I'm very grateful for that every day. And that's why I'm here every day, to talk to all you fine people. And of course, over on the Entertainment Guide today, I'll be doing a live stream during the football scheduled for 2 o'clock. And we've got the Zoom call this morning with patrons at the Zoom call level. So busy week for me, but hey, no big deal, right? It is good to be busy during 2020. Thank you guys so much for helping me stay busy. And hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Looking forward to the live stream madness that we're going to see over the next few days. This is far more condensed. Usually the draft is a week away from free agency. This idea of Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Friday, that's insane. And the bio window closing Thursday, so yeah, it's going to be kind of crazy. And I'm going to apologize straight out for the number of videos that are going to be up there, because the big free agent signings will all get their own videos and analyses, and of course the draft, I'm going to be doing videos on that. And with how important this draft feels this year, I'm leaning towards, at the end of the draft, doing a draft video on the top 10, a draft video for 11 through 20, and a draft video for 21 through 31. I'm leaning towards doing it that way because, again, I've done profiles on all these players, and so I feel like, this draft, there's a lot of depth to it, and I think, it has that level of importance. Thank you guys so much for all your support, as I've said, and I will talk to you again soon. For the record, I haven't talked to the Cats yet about the schedule. I would imagine that they'll be on the set and that they'll be available for any questions that you might have. I've been working on teaching Shadow various words and phrases, and I think it's going to be great once he finally speaks on camera. Thanks again for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.